Okay, let's talk about something that stresses out pretty much every parent and caregiver I know: car seat safety. We're going to cut through all the noise, all the confusion, and give you a simple, really powerful way to think about keeping your kids safe on the road. I mean, if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by all the conflicting advice out there, you are not alone. It feels like this impossible puzzle, right? Rear facing till 2, booster till 8. What does it all mean? Well, what if the answer was actually simple? That's exactly what we're here to do. This is not about memorizing a bunch of random rules. It's about understanding one clear concept: your child's safety journey. So let's just dive right in. We're going to call this the graduation path. Just think of it like this. There are only 4 stages your child will go through, from that very first ride home from the hospital all the way until they're ready for an adult seatbelt. That's it. Just 4. And here they are. You've got rear-facing, then forward-facing, then the booster seat, and finally the seatbelt. That is the whole shebang. Each step is designed to maximize safety for where your child is at size-wise and development-wise. So let's break each one down. Stage 1, rear-facing. And let me be perfectly clear. This is, without a doubt, the absolute safest way for a young child to ride. In a crash, that seat shell acts like a cradle for their entire body, protecting their fragile head and neck. Now, I want you to forget that old rule about turning them forward at age 2. The real mission, the safest thing to do, is to max out the seat's limits. Keep them rear-facing until they hit that top height or weight. Okay, so once they've officially outgrown that rear-facing seat, they graduate to stage 2, forward-facing with a harness. And listen, here's a detail that is so easy to miss, but it is absolutely critical: the top tether. It's that strap on the back of the car seat. You have to anchor it. It dramatically reduces how far your child's head can snap forward in a crush. Whatever you do, don't skip it. Next up is stage 3, the booster seat. This is for kids who've outgrown their harness but are still way, way too small for an adult seatbelt. A booster doesn't have its own harness, right? Its one and only job is to boost the child up so the car's actual seatbelt fits them correctly. That means low across the strong bones of their hips and flat across their shoulder, not their soft belly or neck. And that brings us to the final graduation: the adult seatbelt. Now, getting to this stage isn't about their birthday, it is all about fit. We're going to cover a super simple 5-step test in a bit, so you'll know for sure. But the golden rule always, always applies. No matter how tall they are, all kids under 13 are safest in the back seat. Period. Okay, lean in for this part, because this is the big aha moment. This might be the single most important idea in this entire explainer. There is a huge difference between what the law requires and what is actually safest for your child. And this quote just says it all. The best way to think about it is this: the law, that's the floor. It's the absolute bare minimum you have to do. But best practice, that's the ceiling. And to really truly keep your kids safe, you always want to be aiming for the ceiling, not just trying to stay off the floor. So let's look at rear-facing again. Lots of laws say you can turn your kid forward-facing at age 2. But what do the experts say? They say you should keep them rear-facing until they hit the seat's maximum limit, which on a lot of modern seats is 40, sometimes even 50 pounds. For most kids, that's going to be around age 4. We're talking about two extra years in the safest position possible. That's huge. And you see the exact same gap with boosters. The law might say your kid can ditch the booster at age 8, but here's the reality. Almost no 8-year-old is 4'9" tall. And if they're not, that adult seatbelt is going to ride up on their soft belly and cut across their neck, which is incredibly dangerous in a crash. So the takeaway is simple: keep them in that booster until the adult belt fits them properly, which is often closer to age 10, 11, or even 12. And this right here, this is why trying to just follow the law is a complete nightmare. I mean, look at this mess. Ontario has one rule, California another, Florida says something else entirely, and then some places, like Alberta, don't even have a specific booster law. So, instead of trying to make sense of this chaos, just ignore it. Follow one simple rule instead. Use a booster until they pass the 5-step test. It's not just safer, it's way, way simpler. Okay, so now you get the philosophy. Max out each stage. Simple. But what about the actual car seat? The hardware. Well, the good news is manufacturers are really stepping up, designing seats that make it easier than ever to follow these best practices. Let's look at a few features you should be looking for. For those first infant seats, easy installation is everything. Because let's be real, when you're sleep-deprived with a newborn, the last thing you want is to fight with a car seat. That's why seats like the Chico KeyFit are so popular. Another great feature to look for is an anti-rebound bar, which you can find even on great value seats like the Graco Snug Ride. It just adds another layer of protection. Now, for the bigger convertible seats, look for things that make your life easier. For instance, a system like Britax's ClickTight pretty much takes all the guesswork out of getting a rock-solid installation. And if you want to max out that rear-facing time we talked about, seats like the Graco Extend-to-Fit are built with higher weight limits specifically for that. And you know kids are messy, so a cover that just zips right off to be washed, like on the Chico NextFit, total lifesaver. And finally, with boosters, you want something that's going to grow with your kid. Some, like the Diano Monterey, actually get wider as they get taller, which is great for bigger kids. Others, like the Kleck Uber, use what's called a rigid latch system. Now, that doesn't make it safer for the child, but it does keep the empty booster from flying around the car when your kid isn't in it. And a lot of them, like the Graco Transitions, are super versatile, converting from a harness seat into a booster. You could go out and buy the most expensive, top-of-the-line car seat in the world, but I'm telling you, it won't do its job if it isn't installed correctly. This is, hands down, the most critical part of the whole equation. So you've got two basic options to install your seat. You can use your car seat belt, or you can use the latch system. Now, latch can feel a little easier, but it does have a weight limit. That's the weight of the seat plus your child. A seatbelt installation is just as safe, and it never has a weight limit. The most important thing to remember is to use one or the other, never both. And get it tight.
You should turn this into a habit, a little 5-point check for every single ride. Number 1. The 1-inch test. Grab the seat where the belt goes through and give it a good tug. It should not move more than 1 inch side to side. 2. Always use that top tether for forward-facing seats. 3. Do the pinch test on the harness right at your child's collarbone. You shouldn't be able to pinch any extra webbing. 4. The chest clip should be at armpit level. And 5. No puffy winter coats under the harness. Strap them in snug, then put the coat or a blanket over them.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The top safety agencies in both the US and Canada couldn't be clearer. If the seat is installed wrong or the harness is loose, it dramatically compromises how well that seat can protect your child. Getting this part right, it's everything.
All right, we've reached the final leg of our journey. This is the tool you need. This is how you'll know for sure when your child is actually ready to graduate from their booster seat.
It's called the 5-step test. So take the booster out, have your child sit in the back seat, and ask yourself these 5 questions. 1. Is their back all the way against the vehicle seat? 2. Do their knees bend naturally at the edge of the seat? 3. Is the lap belt sitting low on their thighs, not on their soft tummy? 4. Does the shoulder belt cross their shoulder and chest, not their neck? And number 5, and this one's a biggie, can they actually stay seated properly like that for the whole trip without slouching? If you answer no to even one of these, they still need that booster. So we end on this question. You now know that the safest path forward isn't just following the bare minimum laws. It's about maximizing the safety of every single stage for as long as possible. So now the question is for you. Knowing this, what's the one change you can make, maybe even today, to better protect your child on their safety journey? Thanks for watching.